let's just give it a couple of minutes because I think we will have more people popping in, and I have to admit people one at a time. So it's good to see everybody could make it, or a bunch of people could make it. And I think we can pretty much go through what we need to go through in a fairly brief amount of time, maybe a half an hour or so, and I'd be happy to answer questions. So we see, we've got 9 people who have joined. What time is it? 9:01, I think. We'll give it another minute or so. There's another person. Okay, we've got 10 people in. Good. All right. It's 11. There are 35 people enrolled, but I can't imagine that everyone's going to be able to make it to the organizational meeting. All right. 9:02. Okay. Well, let me start. Nice to see everybody. My name is Professor Tony Genie. I have taught this course for many, many years. This course used to be required of all undergraduates at Brooklyn College. It used to be called Classics 1. It has undergone many, many iterations and evolutions, maybe more so than just about any other course. It was for a long time part of the core requirement of 10 classes that everyone had to take. When the core came back kind of into force in the late 80s. Now it has, I'm not even sure of the role that it plays in the overall curriculum. I know that it has it has a sort of it fulfills part of the pathways requirements. But I have a feeling that a lot more people are taking this course these days because they're interested in the material than used to be the case when it was just sort of a hardwired requirement. I tell my classes, and this is probably the 20th time that I've taught this course, I tell my classes that this course has had a huge impact on my life because when I was a kid, I was a freshman at Bklyn College, and this is in the late 70s, early 80s, and I took the earlier version of this course with Ethel Wolf. You might know the name from the Wolf Center. And Ethel was an amazing teacher, and she really inspired me to study classics. The reading list has changed a little bit from that time, which is now almost 40 years ago. But there is still a core of what we would call the great books tradition or the Western tradition. And I have to say, unapologetically, there's well, not unapologetically, without any concealment, I have to say this is a Western Civ type course, and it is basically rooted in ancient Greece and Rome, and time-wise, it's really rooted between the Iliad and Virgil's Aeneid. So it spans about 1,000 years of culture, Greek and Roman culture. The way that I usually teach the course when we're live and in person is we meet from 8 to 10 p.m. every night, and I lecture for about an hour, hour and a half, so an hour and a quarter, and then I have students write on something, usually something that we've discussed during the hour. I will hand out a Xerox of a section of text, and I will ask for a reaction to that, like, tell me your opinion. And this way I can hear your voices through what you write, since it's really hard for me to convey anything and get a discussion going in the relatively limited time that we have. And in the process of writing every day, I get to know people, so that by the second week of the class, I basically know everyone's name, and it's really nice. Given the circumstances that we're in, these extremely trying circumstances that we're in, we have to do this in an online and asynchronous way. It's kind of a do-it-yourself now. It's kind of a work at your own pace. So you'll want to know what you have to do, right? You'll want to know what your requirements are. Instead of the usual midterm and final, which is multiple choice, which is what I do when we do this in real time, we'll just have a final. The final will be multiple choice questions that are drawn from Quizlet. I don't know if anyone has used Quizlet before. Quizlet is basically a flashcard program. The terms that you need to know, the factual terms, are all on a Quizlet, and it's already on the blog, so you can actually start studying them right away. I will show you the blog in a second. So the final is a requirement. I will mail that to you in PDF form towards the end of the class. The other requirement that I ask you to do is I ask you to do a set of writings. There are 12 writings. I have sent that to you already. I just sent it to you a few minutes ago in email. There's a PDF with selections of text that we're going to be dealing with, talking about, and essay prompts. And what I expect from those is basically sort of a one-page essay for each assignment. You can do a few of them together. You could hold on to them for a while. It's fine. I would definitely look at them when the course starts and pace yourself, because generally students do this every night, and at the end of the class they will have written 15 or so pages, which kind of looks like, at least in terms of the size of the work and the effort, it looks like a term paper. I don't give term papers. I don't think that this class lends itself to a kind of a research format. What I want from you is I want you to engage with the texts and react to them as honestly as possible in your own words. Usually I prefer to see it in your own handwriting. That's not going to really be doable. Although if you want to write these essays by hand and send me take a picture, take a PDF and send them to me that way, that's fine. Because the sort of the handwriting component makes me feel like you're engaging directly with the text, and I'm seeing sort of like the effects that these ideas are having on you. If you want to just sort of type them out and send them to me in email, that's good too. So the requirements in terms of what you need to send me for the course are those. The final exam, which we'll talk about more, it'll be towards the end of the course, towards first week of July. And these writings, which you can do either a few at a time, every night if you like, or save them mostly to the end, and you can just email those to me, however you want to do that. The readings and the nightly work are really left to you. There are lectures that I've prepared. I haven't prepared all of them because the course hasn't started yet. I've prepared the first 4, the Iliad lectures and the Odyssey lectures. They're on the blog. If you find that you can't get access to them, then send me an email and I will try to correct that on my end. This is a Google issue, right? Because I'm using a Google platform that's outside of Bklyn College, so you might have to email me for permission to get in, and that's not hard to do. A lot of the stuff that I've put there is, well, everything is online. You don't have to buy any books. Everything is free. You should be able to put the blog onto your phone so that you can read and listen to stuff right off of your phone. But my lectures will be sort of plugged into there as the weeks go on. I can't really just do the whole course before it starts. I did the first couple of weeks, and as the course rolls forward, I'm gonna put more stuff on there. There's also a lot of stuff that is YouTube stuff that is sort of like History Channel stuff. There are some lectures that I thought were very compelling that were done by other faculty and other institutions. There are a couple of things coming from Gresham College in England, a couple of things from Oxford. And I thought, you know, this is good stuff. You should probably engage with that. You know, I can't really do any better a job than they have in that. So those are videos that are linked to the blog, right? So now I'm going to present the blog. You have the URL in the email that I sent about 20 minutes ago. You should have the URL to the blog. Rachel asks, so the lectures will only be recorded. The lectures will only be recorded on the blog, no meetings. Yeah, this is an asynchronous class. So this is really the only time that we're going to see each other face to face. Unless, of course, you know, we could, you know, arrange another meeting, and we could arrange as many as you like. But the whole point of it being asynchronous is so that there's no pressure on you to do this, given everything else that's going on in your life, your work, your kids, whatever. You can do this at, you know, whatever time of day you like. So I'm going to switch off my camera for a second, and I'm going to present the blog for you. And let me see if so give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Yeah. Someone asked, there's no specific due date for the 12 pieces of writing. Yes, but I just ask you to sort of be merciful. You know, if you can do some of them earlier rather than doing all of them at the end, it'll be easier on me, because then I might just, you know, I didn't realize there were going to be 35 people in the class, so I might get really swamped at the end. So try to do a few, you know, a few at a time. So here's the blog. The theme of the class is the polis and the urbs, the two words for city, the Greek and the Roman word for city. And we're looking really at the city of Athens and the city of Rome, and through the lens of literature. So it's not a class on urban planning per se, although some of that stuff will come in. It's not really a history class. It's really a literature class. And the theme of going through these great books, which in a way form a cycle of education, or an encyclopedic pattern of education in the ancient world. The theme that I've chosen to look at this summer is the nature of the city. What in the Greek and Roman worldviews or mindsets, what constitutes the city? What are the requirements? What are the duties that citizens have towards one another? What are the external threats? What's the nature of the conflicts that might arise when duties to the city and the state conflict with duties of towards one's family, right? Or duties towards the gods, right? So some people have a background in Greek mythology. Some people have looked at these texts before. For some people, it's going to be all brand new material. All I can say is, you know, have fun with it. So I've asked people before the class begins to look at 3 Wikipedia entries that just sort of set the theme of the city. One is the more general term of what is the city in history. This, you know, the city as it has evolved in human history, from Neolithic times to the modern megalopolis. And then there are 2 other entries that are specific to the Greek city and the Roman city, polis and civitas, right? The interesting thing about polis is it gives us the word for politics, because for the Greeks, being human is tied up intimately with being a member of a city. That it's sort of, you're not a complete person unless you are part of a city. For the Romans, there was a sort of a separate notion of the physical city and the citizenship, and it kind of blurred at the outlines. So you could be a Roman citizen, but you didn't have to have such an intense connection with the city of Rome until in the Roman Empire you could go anywhere you want and sort of carry a Roman citizenship as a kind of a passport. So it became more conceptual, if you will. Someone has asked, will you let us know which pieces to respond to? Yes. you should have gotten a PDF in an email through your Brooklyn College email, which is about 20-ish pages long, which has the readings to respond to and the essay prompts. So that should all be there. Let me know if you don't find that in your email. So to start off, right? Look at these 3 Wikipedia sites, and then if you go up and you look at the blog archive on the right, there's the entries for May, right? Starting down here, there's a sort of a description of the writing assignments for the course, right? I say the file is too big to attach. That's why I emailed it to you. And then there's something that's called the daily work roster, right? So each of the days, of the class are listed here with the dates. June 1, June 2, June 3. Wednesday is the day that you have to declare whether or not you're going to be enrolled, and I have to tell the registrar. Then the readings are given here, and the links for the readings are here. So, for instance, you start with Homer, right? You click on the reading, and it'll take you right to a translation. This is Klein's translation of Homer. Can you see that tab now? Which is you should be looking at a picture of a Greek hero and a woman in a white dress who's sort of appealing to him. Okay, so that's the text of Homer that we're going to use, the English translation of Homer, and we're going to start with book 1, right? And you'll see I will parcel out, right? Book 1 is about, I don't know, 30-ish pages, right? 611 lines in Greek hexameter. So I will break down, the amount of each author that you're going to read, because obviously we can't, tackle in the survey course, we can't tackle the entire work. Well, I mean, smaller works we can, dramas, things like that, but it's really going to be hard to read the entire Iliad and the Odyssey and have time for anything else. So so those will be the ways that you get onto the reading, and you should be able to do that on your phone. Then there's some YouTube things to watch. Those links are here. I've told you roughly the amount of time that the videos run, so you can pace yourself. You're going to be spending, it's a 3-credit course. You're going to be spending certainly more than an hour, maybe an hour and a half each day, if you want to do it right. Reading and watching whatever is up here. My first lecture comes along here, and the lectures that I'm going to give are posted on the blog. So let me go to the blog again. My lectures so far are up here, right? So you can click on them, and hopefully you'll either get access to them right away, or if you have trouble, you'll email me, right? So that's how the course sort of goes along. You read, you look at, you read the snippets that I put out there. You watch the videos. And the other thing I'd like you to do is to send me questions, right? I would like you to sort of come up with and keep a list of questions for each day's work, for each video, and send them to me. So just like, it could be anything. It could be even an observation, or I wonder if, right? Someone is just entering now. Hang on. But a conceptual question. So you'll have a set of 18 or so questions to submit, as well as your 12 essays, right? So that is kind of the way it goes. It's really a do-it-yourself. I'm, more than happy to pop in even every day. I could pop in. I'm always checking my email. One of the things that I've mentioned in the blog is that I would really like it if you could send your emails to me, not only to my Brooklyn email, but to my regular email, which is agenie@polyprep.org. I put that down in the blog. That's just because with the craziness of any given day, I may be looking at one email more than the other, and this way it gives me 2 bites at the apple, right? So that it's not like, you know, it'll be like 10 o'clock at night, and I won't have looked at one of the emails, and it's like, oh, I'm letting this kid down because you need information, and I didn't get to you in time. So if you could just do that. So Ramina asks, is this going to be on Blackboard? No, we're not using Blackboard. We're using the blog, right? Whatever you, so the blog is our central place, right? All of the readings, all of the videos, everything is there. All of the lectures, right? And so if you bookmark that, you know, pull that out of the email, bookmark that. Yes, Ramina, there's a link in your email, and I will give it to you, I will show it to you here again. Hang on a second. I'm going to view the blog. I'm going to project this one more time. Just give me a second. No, Julia, if you could send the emails to me by send the writings to me by email and the questions by email, that's better for me. Not on the blog, because it's then everybody else sees them and it gets very confusing when you open the blog and everybody's stuff is there. Let me just project the blog one more time. All right. Can't get this view. So it's called GINI Summer Bklyn CLAS 1110.blogspot.com. So it's pretty intuitive. It's my last name, Jeannie, then Summer Bklyn CLAS 1110, which is a designation of this course, then .blogspot.com. Okay. And again, you don't have to remember or copy that URL because it should be in your email. Yes, Laura, it says you have to request access to my lectures. So if you just, when the link prompts you to do that, just say request access. It shoots me a request, and then I can open it up for you, right? That's kind of a security thing that's built in. There's not much I can do to make it easier. I can't do something global, you know. It's like it would be nice if I could just open it up globally. And I think once you get access to one, you'll get access to the others. It might be cumbersome, but you know, this is just the way it has to go with virtual. We have to just sort of be sending gazillions of little emails back and forth. It'll work out. So I think I've kind of, you know, this is not about the course per se. It's sort of an outline of the course, but I'm going to start talking about the themes of the city when we talk about Homer. But this is an organizational meeting to get you familiar with what you need to use, how to get to it, how to get to me, right? So basically 3 things. The final, we'll worry about that in 5 weeks' time. That's all multiple choice. The essays, right? Which you'll do at your own pace, and then keep a set of questions for each day's reading. I know, look, you know, we're all grown-ups, and I know that life is complicated, life gets hard, things pop up. If you can't do all of the reading, or if you can't watch the entire video, it happens, right? There's really no way for me to check on that. It's not a gotcha situation, right? It's you know, it's the old college try. You give it your best effort, and the more you do, obviously, the more you get out of the course. Zainab asks, how do you get the 18 questions? The essay questions and the readings that you need for them are in a PDF, and they have been emailed to you, right? I sent that email about 10 or 15 minutes before we came online. The questions that I'm asking you to compose are coming from your own head, right? Yes, Rachel, about 1 or 2 page response to every reading. Yes. So yeah, so it's really a matter of you know, what I'd like you to get out of this course is to have an authentic experience with the text. You know, authentic is difficult because we're looking at texts that are translated. Sometimes the translations that we're using are not our native language. Sometimes even if they are in our native language, they might strike you as a little bit older, archaic, right? So, you do the best you can, but the more that we can access or make connection with the original thoughts of these authors, the more you get out of it. Shauna says, which translation? The translation that is linked on the blog, the one that we're using, is A.S. Klein, Tony Klein's translation. Ramina says, how do you, the essays, you post the essays by just emailing them to me or sending me a PDF, right? Again, you could do it every day if you want, and I'll just keep tabs on them. Or you can do them in batches, right? That's about all. I think I've kind of gotten through what I needed to get through. So are there any questions? Does anyone have any concerns about time or anything like that? I'm looking at the chat. No, Ramina, the syllabus is not on Blackboard because everything is coming through the blog. Since I don't teach during the regular semester at the college, I only teach in the summer. I don't have a Blackboard account that's on all summer, so it's just much easier to do it this way, right? Email me right away. Even like over the weekend, email me if you have trouble getting onto the blog. The blog is essentially public. There's no restriction on the blog, right? The lectures are not on a different blog. The lectures are all going to be on the same thing. Everything is packed into the blog, right? It's your one-stop shop. Ramina, breakdown of the grades. I've explained the breakdown in the blog. So largely it's going to be the writings and the final are going to be roughly the same weight, but not exactly, right? And I generally, I don't grade the writings on the basis of your spelling or anything like that. It's, how much effort and how much contact you've made with the work, with the, with the author and the text that we're dealing with. Okay. All right. I'm about ready to sign off. So any last questions? So are we good to go? We're feeling confident? We know how we're going to proceed? You're welcome, Rachel. Very good. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Okay. It's good seeing you. And if there's a possibility that we can maybe do this again, I will do this. Again, it's an asynchronous course, so don't feel obliged to come on. Maybe before the final would be, yeah, absolutely. We'll get together before the final and we'll run through some practice things. Okay. All right. Well, it was very good seeing everybody, and we will sort of troubleshoot the course as it goes through. All right. All right. You can unmute if you want. I'll say good night.
Good night.
Bye, Professor.
Night.
Bye, good night.